Hi there, Holistretch fam. Welcome to a Holistretch video. My name is Frances Eve. In this video, we will be focusing on perfecting your posture, or just improving your posture. And how we do that is in mountain pose, or Tadasana. I've been learning from Barbara Noh, and she has been teaching us how to align our body. It's so important to learn this technique because when your body is aligned, it just helps you have confidence, it helps you avoid injury, it helps you meditate, it just helps you on so many different levels. And so we're going to show in this video what it feels like to have an imperfect posture versus what it feels like to have a perfect posture. And by perfect, I just mean aligned. So just keep that in mind. There's no such thing as perfection. We all have unique body types, and so it's going to look a little different on each of us. However, you will notice that you feel so much more open when you do perfect this perfect posture, okay? The other thing I'm going to show you is how to have this posture while you are in sitting position. So while you're working on your computer or reading a book and you're worried about slouching or leaning forward too much, I'm going to share with you some techniques on how to maintain this perfect posture in those poses as well. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet done so. I have lots of stretch videos and some other posture videos for you to check out as well. The only thing that you may want to have in practicing this pose is a block, like a yoga block. If you don't have one, no worries, we can do it without the block. All right, you guys ready? Let's dive right in. So the first thing we want to do is have our feet parallel to each other, just like so. So you want your toes to be in alignment together, your heels to be in alignment together, and the arches of your feet to be in alignment. So I could draw a straight line across with each one. That's why sometimes it can be helpful to have a block, and you want your feet to be just the width of the long side of the block. Now in this position, press your big toe mounds down. So these toe mounds are going to press down into the ground. And as your toes are pressing into the ground, feel that lift from the ankles up in towards the knees. Spread your toes out wide and feel the full bottom side of your foot on the ground with a little lift in the arch. You can do this without the block as well. What you will be doing is imagining that you do have a block in between your shins. Imagine there's a block here. What you want to do is squeeze these together. So out here, I'm squeezing them in together, keeping my feet right where they are, squeezing my shins in, okay? Now hold this position. This is the very beginning of your perfect posture. Now in this position, notice that your knees are right over your ankles. If they're not, I want you to aim your knees towards your third toe. So my knees in line with my third toe here. I can draw a line from the top of my third toe all the way, 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 all the way up, and it should come to the middle of my kneecap. Now my knees aren't perfectly in alignment. I've actually been working on this for a little bit of time, so they're not perfectly in alignment, but they're as much as I can get them to match up with that third toe. So see the best that you can, get the middle of that kneecap to align with that third toe. All right, so we've just focused on aligning our toes, our third toe with our knee, our bottom toe down into the earth, and we also focused on squeezing the shins in and lifting up through the knees. Well, now we're going to align our hips with our collarbone and our shoulders with the top of our head, okay? So how we do that is we press the pelvis down. If you just imagine as the thighs are curling under, the hips, the pelvis is down. And then from this position, the side body naturally lengthens. Okay, I'm going to show you the opposite later so you can see the difference in the postures, but notice that when you press the pelvis down, the side body lifts up a bit. I can show you from the side. When the pelvis is down, the side body naturally lifts up. This would be like without, right? Just kind of like hanging out. This would be with the side body lifted. So notice that difference in your own body. And we always start with those feet, right? So continuing to ground down as we lift up to the hips, lengthening the side body. Now you're just going to imagine that there's an arrow from your collarbones out to the very top of the shoulder. Collarbones, top of the shoulder, arrow is pointing out that way. I want you to focus on broadening your shoulders, reaching your shoulders towards the point of that arrow. So the right over to the right, the left over to the left, broadening. And as you do that, keeping the ribs in, so sometimes we kind of like come out when we do that, but keeping the ribs in, core tight, broaden the shoulder bones. So again, from here to lengthen and broaden. If you imagine a string to the center of your head, lifting up, 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 up to the ceiling, you can imagine you're like a marionette doll or a ballerina, whatever you want to imagine, but that high lift. And what that does is relax the shoulders and broadens them. It lifts up the side body. It brings the pelvis a little tucked in and down. So actually, when we align from the top, we affect the bottom. When we align from the bottom, we affect the top. And vice versa, when you're not aligned, your whole body gets a little bit misaligned. So we're nice and broad. We want to create a nice opening in the throat. So the chin slightly down. So if you have a string towards the ground, underneath the chin, just keeping it nice and down. And then the head lifted up. So from the side, it would be chin down, open the throat. Throat is this way, chin is down, and head is up. So just imagine all these different angles and directions. Okay, so I want to show you the posture that I have been working on correcting, and it's essentially everything the opposite of what I just taught you. So the big toes are not grounded. In fact, my right foot was coming inwards. So my right knee, of course, right, was pointing inwards as well. The left foot, I was a little bit more on the side of the left foot. The hips were not in alignment. They're just a little bit off. I had a little bit of a tilt. And then the shoulders were not wide. In fact, they came in a little bit, the left one especially. My neck was not lifted. It was down. My head was a little bit forward. So if you see this posture from the side, it just doesn't feel very good to be in my body when I am like this. In fact, I'm feeling feelings of unworthiness, tiredness, laziness. Just feels a little bitter. And then when we go back to the posture that we learned, we have both toes grounded down, our knees pointed to our third toe, our pelvis tucked in, curled under, our side body length, our shoulders broad, our collarbones broad, our neck lengthened, our throat open, and the top of the head lifted. Ribs in, deep breath, and relax. Feeling this from the side. Squeezing those shins in, opening up through the chest. In this position, I feel confident, I feel free, I feel open, I feel strong. Okay, so now we're going to talk about our posture when we're sitting. Essentially, we'll be doing the same thing. So we're grounding our toe mounds down, we're aligning our knees with our third toe, dropping the pelvis, feeling the coccyx, the sacrum relax, and then lengthening through the side body, broadening the shoulders, lengthening the neck, opening the throat, and lifting the head. And if you want to practice this posture, what you can do is come into a chair pose as a squat. It's best if you use a block in between your legs to keep your alignment. And doing this will help develop those muscles so that you feel strong while you're supporting yourself properly. If you sit at a computer and you're bending over like this, of course, what's going to happen is your shoulders are forward. I'm already starting to get pain in my back right here. You're going to have really tight back. You're going to have pain in your back on a regular basis, especially your rhomboids. Your neck will be forward. You might have a lot of jaw tension or grinding in your sleep, or you might just have pain in the back of your occiput, in the back of your neck. So what I want you to do is support yourself so that you have ergonomic alignment with whatever you're doing, your computer. And if you're sitting like this, then you're still forward. So pull that computer closer to you. I know it seems like such a simple tip, but this is something that sometimes shocks me, how it's just like so obvious. It's like, ow, oh, that easy. Sometimes it's really, really easy, and we just don't think about it. So keeping the computer up here, typing here. Okay, so I'm maintaining my posture, maintaining my broad shoulders, I'm maintaining my knees in alignment, and I feel good. My back feels amazing, soft. If you're reading a book, you can do the same thing, you know, making sure that you have just lots of pillows. You can lean forward like this with a straight spine. Another great thing is just to keep a pillow behind your sacrum. So especially if I'm flying in an airplane, I always need 2 pillows. Otherwise, my back will go like this. I'll have pain in my low back. My shoulders will come in, and I just kind of end up slouched, and it hurts. Honestly, like I feel it in my sciatica a little bit. So people come with really stiff hamstrings, sometimes because this or their psoas get just weak. So you take pillow, put it underneath your low back like so. So this doesn't have to be so big. You can actually use one of these to put under your low back. Any little pillow will do, right here. So now you notice that I'm back into almost my perfect posture. What's missing? I think my shoulders need to be broadened a little bit. My side body needs to lengthen. So how do I do that? I tuck in a little bit, use the pillow for support, and then I feel aligned again. So much better, right? I hope these tips helped you guys. It's been a pleasure for me to make because this is something that can really just affect someone's life. It could help you avoid surgery, it could help you avoid chronic pain. So really paying close attention to how you're sitting, how you're standing, always maintaining that perfect posture.